Hello, and welcome back to Therapist Plays Omori. We're still in the princess's castle, Princess Sweetheart, and Mari's here. Like, as much as I was initially very suspicious of that, it now is a very somber but comforting thing to see that she's always here. And I do see it as kind of like a bit of what I was talking about a couple episodes ago about like still developing your relationship with a person that you lost. Sunny is going about it in a way that comes with some other unhealthy things, like headspace being, you know, this whole other reality that he's not really living himself through. But in a sense, that's what he's doing. Like, in a sense, the part of him that is Omori is sheltering his image of Mari, and we're developing more relational moments with her through these experiences. Like, who Mari is to Sunny before we create Headspace is going to be different after we hopefully leave Headspace behind, right? Because of the memories and experiences we've had with her here. So in a sense, that's kind of happening. It's just coming with some other unhealthy artifacts because Headspace is a substitute for the real world and for real coping. But whatever he holds about her in memory that's very painful about losing her, the reason he's likely so attached to Headspace and Omori is that it keeps positive, present memories on the surface. Like, the most recent memories of her are going to be, she's on my adventures, she's there to help me, she's this like anchor point at, you know, every stop of the way on the journey to save our friend Basil. She connects us to everyone around us. She's still very important to him, maybe even more important to him after losing her than she was when she was around, which is really complicated. Complicated for an adult, very complicated for a kiddo. But I appreciate the layers to it, you know? I appreciate that the game doesn't seem to be saying that, like, oh, the fact that Headspace exists is fundamentally a bad thing. Like, it's all bad. It's a way of coping that needs a lot of improvement. We need to show Sunny somehow that there are better ways to cope with this than escaping its reality. And hopefully we find that along the way. Don't know if we'll find it in this castle, though, specifically. I got sent to the dungeon for smuggling, but old habits die hard. That said, I've got some choice goods for sale, patron. Interested in buying? I bet he has tofu, yeah. Oh, he's got a couple other things, too. I could use some life gems. I'm kind of getting smoked recently. Looks like I can sell as well. Anything I can sell? Combo meal. It's pretty good. I don't think anyone has, like, enough health for that to matter right now. Should I trade it for another life gem or save my clams? Like, no one has 100 juice, just about, to really benefit from that. But I will absolutely benefit from life gem. Looks like I have a couple of things that are, like, just for selling, so why don't I get rid of those first? I think I need life jams. Maybe a chicken wing? Grab a chicken wing. I'm gonna take as many life jams as I can get. That's good. Alright. Back to the grind. Who's this guy? Let's fuck him up. I don't like that they have names. I don't like that the ones in the castle have names. It makes me feel a little bit of guilt giving him the old slash and stab. Oh, I found the contestants. No one ever escapes the dungeon. Well, I'm letting you out, friends. Can't go down there just yet. Huzzah! After countless failures, I finally almost made my escape. All I need to do now is find the exit. Okay, well, move, maybe. Can Hero get you to move? Someone move him. I gotta push that button. Damn it. Oh, this looks like a job for the sports kid. Nice. Okay. Oh, this looks like Space Boy's room. A vanity, but the mirror makes you look especially unflattering. Why does it look like she kept Space Boy here? But, like, fed him dog food. It's pretty odd. We got another letter. What's it gonna be? Useful or useless? Useless. Yeah. I still can't even guess it, what the first word is. Yes. Yes. Why did that just explode the Sprout Mall? I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to question it. It serves my purpose, so... tough luck, I suppose. Okay, we're making some progress now. Look there. We're finally at the exit. Freedom at last. Let's get out of here. I never want to see another Sprout Mall again in my life. You're telling me. Let's smash up these pots first, though. There's fucking clams in these boys. Just sitting around. Plentiful clams as well. Oh, yeah, that would have been a good idea to do as well. Okay, now we can get out. Wait, do these replenish? Oh my god. I'm clam farming. I'm just collecting clams. It's kind of strange. Do they really just come right back? I guess we're cashing in on clams today. I mean, it's not much, but it's honest thievery. That's a decent amount of pocket change. All right, let's get out of here. Halt, prisoners. Did you really think you could escape that easily? It's back to the dungeon for the 4 of you. Damn, and we're so close too. What do we do now? Think, hero, think. Come on, how do we get out of this? Oh, I got it. What? On the contrary, Sir Knight, I think you have us mistaken for someone else. Do we have... Oh my god, that's terrifying. Don't be so quick to judge. We are Sprout Moles, indubitably. Indeed. Yes, quite. I'm also a lover of tofu and sweetheart. Delicious sweetheart. I mean tofu. Egad, my eyes must have deceived me. I apologize, brethren. It's rather hard to see through this helmet. Very well, carry on then. I'll resume my patrol. You lot ought to return to your stations as well, lest our dear leader, Sweetheart, notices. Not very bright, these Sprout Moles. Is that for some quick thinking? That was smooth, hero. With these Sprout Mole masks, we'll be able to make it out of here in a cinch. Do we really have to keep wearing these, hero? It's getting kind of itchy. Yes, Kel? Should keep them on until we get out of here. Come on, let's move. All right, we can move among the Sprout Moles. Little rabbit. What? Why are we fighting them? It's a natural one. Omori's party has the upper hand. Okay. I guess we'll get to stabbing away. Damn, that's a whole lot of slashing. Look at the chompers on that one. There we go. Got some nachos, got some tofu, got some clams. I mean, I'll body anybody in this castle for I'll body anyone for a single clam. I won't let a single clam go uncollected. What is this? What's going on here? Is there some kind of sequence maybe to put these in? Ugh, my dear sous chef. I'm afraid my back just can't take it anymore. It is at this unfortunate time that I announce my retirement. But wait, Chief, without you, who will lead us in the task of baking a most magnificent cake for the main event? Sous chefs, it is now time for one of you to step up to the limelight. The cake must be baked today. Our very lives are on the line. Oh yes, I hear you, Chief. As the most capable of us, I will volunteer and take charge of the task. I won't fail you. The lifestyle of the sprout moles, and the politics going on as well. You four are sous chefs now. Meet me in the kitchen pronto. What took you so long? Step on it, will you? I can't leave this room until I bake the best cake in existence. Follow my instructions. Yeah, sure, whatever. I know how to bake a cake. Preheat the oven to 75 degrees. Okay. Whatever, easy. The next thing to do is mix 2 main ingredients in a bowl. Flowers and ping pong balls. What, you think I don't know how to follow directions? What is this? Eggs? Coconut? Need the sugar. Oh, I need the flour. What is this? Pine berries. No. I need ping pong balls. Wherever the fuck I'm supposed to get those. This looks like a shoe. Is he saying flowers and ping pong balls? Does he mean the flour and the eggs? Okay. All right, genius. Yes. You're doing great. Next comes the salt and cheese. Yeah, beat those two together until it's soup. The salt and cheese. Does it mean sugar? And butter, maybe? A simpleton could do this. Now we're cooking. Last but not least, grab some sauce and cut it into pieces. What? Why would I cut sauce into pieces? Sauce. Garden soil. Strawberries. Sauce. What? The whole chicken. The fuck is he talking about? The sauce? I mean, it must be the fish, right? Yeah, slash it up, Omori. Magnificent. Now mix them all together in the microwave. It's that easy. Can I undo that? I'm now realizing that probably fish shouldn't go in a cake. Maybe I can't follow instructions. That'll be fine. A fish cake. It's a fish cake. Crab cake. It's delicious. Baked a cake. What the heck did you put in there? All done. Beautiful work, I must say. Let's have a taste. Yeah, taste it up, boy. That disposed of him. Good riddance. That guy was such a drag. Okay, I guess I actually... Wait, what? 350 degrees. Like some flour and eggs. Yeah, tell me what to actually do. What are you doing? That's not what I said. What? Yes, it is. Pay attention. Flour and eggs. I took the sugar. I really can't follow instructions. How did I get this far in life? Legit, how did I get this far in life? It's gotta be strawberries. I mean, yeah. A fucking idiot could have guessed that the sauce was strawberries. Look, we're good at one thing, okay? We're good at slashing. I'm good at all this, like, fucking delicate mixture stuff. Looks pretty good. And that's how you bake a cake. Fucking easy. Finally, a cake to our late head chef would be proud of. May his memory live on forever. You may go now. Servants, be free. Okay. Take the frying pan. Whatever that's for. The sprout mole gazes wistfully at Sweetheart's portrait. Okay. Oh, there's Mari. Bowl of sweet strawberries. I feel like new. Is there time for a picnic? I would love to have another picnic. There sure are a lot of sprout moles here, and they all sure love Sweetheart. I tried offering one some food earlier, but she called me a peon and threw it back at me. Sprout moles are peculiar creatures, aren't they? They sure are. Sors de ma chambre ou j'appellerai les flics. Is that like, get out of my room or I'll call someone? Les flics. Oh, Francois. I can't understand a single word you're saying, but you're so dreamy. J'appellerai. I will call the maybe guards. I don't know. French is rusty. Dear diary, today Gee, what did I do today? That's real. That's real. Oh, I don't know why I just tried to smack that. It's another key. J. Part of the puzzle? Or nothing at all? Nothing at all, huh? What is this? What is that? Sir Maximus, stop imposters. I know what you are. And I know that you are not sprout moles. Makes me wondering how I'm able to tell. You see, I'm above those feeble and inexperienced heralds and marshes. I am Sir Maximus, and with my impressive lineage, I'll be victorious and bring honor to my family. All right, bro, whatever you say. I don't care what kind of Sprout Mole you are, you all get stabbed up just the same. You get flexed on, you get stabbed at. Look how sad my boy Omori is, okay? When you see him get sad, you're in danger. No, I cannot fail now. My son needs me. Whoa, buddy, slow down there. You can't just go slashing around like that, all right? You need a license for that kind of thing. And I've got the only one. Vanquished. You were nothing. You were always nothing, and you were never gonna be something. I don't know why, I just feel like I have to be super mean to these fucking things. They're so vile, so many of them. Calling me insipid cretin and wretch. It's so degrading. So, I don't know how long this section lasts. But I'm itching to get into some analysis here. And I've got some ideas. And there is something that I want to discuss. Like, as I sit with some of the ideas that we've been talking about, I'm filling in some of the blanks of these characters in a similar way that I will do like when I'm not sitting in front of a client and having direct dialogue with them, but I'm sort of, conceptualizing their case. I'm thinking back to the Johari window that we did, and all of the stuff that we talked about, what is shared between Sunny and Omori and what's not. But one of the things that we can tell a lot without even having any dialogue from Sunny Brady or Omori is we can look at his values, because those are likely to be pretty shared between the two. If Omori is a part of Sunny, and this world is some composition of Sunny's thoughts and feelings about these people in his life that he cares about and is preserving in some important way, then a lot of like the things that he cares about, his values, are going to be represented by how they interact and how they're portrayed. So this is the amazing thing about like doing values work, which is really important for all of us actually, is that there's a lot to learn about how someone thinks, behaves, and what they care about. And this is going to be an important lesson for those of you out there who struggle with like self-esteem, okay? I'm someone who kind of struggles with this sometimes. And there's many theories and therapy styles and that sort of thing that look at self-esteem and how to improve that. But generally, if you struggle with like self-confidence and self-image and dealing with feelings of regret and these sorts of things, like this one may help you out a lot. Okay, we're going to talk about values because I think it's going to help us understand a lot about what's going on with these characters and ourselves. So all of us have some kind of value system. And these are ideas that you have certain standards for, right? And maybe you've not explored a lot of this in concrete detail, but this would be a really good place to start. And you can start by asking yourself, like, what are the things that you care about communication? Okay. Personally, I value communication as a way of connecting with people, but it's also how I represent myself professionally, emotionally. It's how I set my boundaries with people. It's how I be effective in my relationships. It's the main mechanism and vehicle for apologizing if I've made a mistake, so it helps me repair things that I've broken. Like, I value it very, very highly. It's one of my most highly held values. We're also going to have, like, pretty commonly some kind of value about appearance. You know, how do you present yourself more physically, right? Do you care a lot about fashion? Do you not care about fashion? It's okay not to. That doesn't mean you don't value your appearance. It just means that you value, like, let's say, comfort over style, right? Like, your value system is very subjective. It's very personal. And you can even start to see how, like, even just if we take those two, this is going to actually start, like, giving a picture of the kinds of people in your life, because we tend to aggregate our relationships around people with shared values. In your different communities, there's going to be people who have some kind of overlapping values about things that you care about. Like, for example, this channel, right? Everyone who watches this channel cares about mental health. I'm going to guess, right? Because, like, that's kind of the theme of it. And so, like, whatever the major overlapping theme is, whatever is, like, most concentrated, that's where you're going to find connection with people, right? But someone who watches this channel is going to have, they care about mental health, but they're not going to care about a lot of stuff that you care about, for example. And that may be out here and over here. But there's going to be some overlapping things, right, at the center that brings you together, right? And you're likely going to surround yourself with other people who value the same kinds of communication. Like, if you care about being respectful and kind to people, you're probably not going to have a lot of people around you who just, like, talk a lot of shit and are super negative. If you find, like, fashion and appearance is super important, like, you're likely going to be taking notice of other people who value this and compare yourself to them and be curious about them and maybe develop, a friendship with them. Like, your value system really does determine a lot of not just what you care about yourself, but kind of the people you surround yourself as well. You're going to have values about, finances, okay? Like, it's kind of influenced by how you grew up. Did you see that money was a stressor? Did you see that it was something to be frivolous about? Like, was it communicated to you that, like, money is the key to happiness, or that it's really immaterial to happiness? Like, it's going to be very subjective, okay? But how you behave with that subject is kind of determined about how you care and feel about it, right? You have values about time, how you spend it. You might have values of, independence. You're probably not going to be choosing people in your life who are, like, pretty suffocating with your time and with your boundaries. Like, if you really value independence, for example. What do you value about relationships, right? Do you highly value romantic gestures? Do you not? Like, what is your love language? Like, learning about yourself is essentially the pursuit of understanding what your values are. And these are shaped by experiences, but I also think they're largely chosen. Okay, like, there's definitely been times in my life where I've not valued communication very highly. And I feel like reflecting on that and seeing what the consequences of not caring about it helps me identify that as, like, oh, this is really important to me, to facilitate that as a skill set, to surround myself with people who also care about this, and to use it for good things, productive things, whatever. You're going to have, a whole value system just in your relationships about trust, about connection, all kinds of stuff. Okay, this is infinite layers of discovery about yourself here. So values are about you, and they're about the people you're surrounded with, but they're also tricky. Okay, and this is where we get to the therapy part, because we would all be perfect beings if we just had great values and stuck to them every time. And we would all have, like, perfect self-esteem, because I kind of feel like self-esteem is the measure of how, like, closely you stick to your value system, right? Like, what you think about yourself is, are you validating through your actions that you are behaving according to the things that you care about, the things that you believe in? If you find that you deviate a lot from this, you're going to feel kind of unsure about yourself, because you have these, like, wild fluctuations from, here's what I say I am, right? This is, like, who I say I am, but here's how I'm behaving. I'm behaving way off to the side, okay? Like, that's going to feel chaotic in your life. and going to feel chaotic internally. There's a couple things that we'll start to feel when our actions and our values are in what I'm just going to call disharmony. Okay. For example, I say I care about communication, but any amount of mood altering events, like not getting enough sleep, not having, food in my stomach, someone insulting me, could elevate my, irritation, and I could like say some shit that I normally wouldn't. Okay. That the value system will be under quite some stress and pressure, and I might break from it. I might act outside of it. I might sort of deviate out here, right? And how I act from there, do I get myself back in alignment and harmonize that? Or do I double down on the problem and, insult the person more or whatever? Like, you're going to end up feeling a couple of different things. There's 4 emotions that I associate with disharmony and values. They're guilt, shame, regret, and embarrassment. To me, these are the signs internally that you've done something that is like not a part of your value system. Okay. If I value like being kind and communicating effectively, and I find that I'm like being insulting, or I'm being overly short with people, or I'm giving people the silent treatment, which is not being open and effective with my communication. As I reflect on that, how outside of my value system I've gone, I might start to feel guilty. How do I respond to that guilt? Do I try to cover it up and explain away my behavior by deflecting or minimizing the problem and saying, oh, well, they really deserved me insulting them because they're actually a bad person? Well, then I don't learn from this. It's not a process of getting back in alignment and harmonizing. This is not going to repair your self-esteem. It's going to help you avoid more of the guilt, because you're basically taking the wall of your value system and saying like, yeah, it really doesn't matter actually, that it's that sound. I'm okay with my value system being misshapen. Or do you take that opportunity to say, yeah, you know what? Like that guilt that I'm feeling, it's not a good feeling, but it's there to tell me that I'm outside of this and I need to get back in. What do I need to do? Do I need to apologize to someone? Do I need to, make an amends? Do I need to like be more open and clear with my communication in the next chance that I get, right? I think that these emotions are pretty uncomfortable to have, but you're probably feeling them for a good reason. If you value, financial stability, you care a lot about being like frugal and discerning with your money, and you suddenly have like an impulse purchase, you tend to feel regret, right? Yeah, because you acted outside your value system. You deviated like from this. And that's a hit on our self-esteem. And so do we like double down on the regret and shame ourselves and say, oh, you fucking loser? Like, do you just dogpile on that? Or do you take that negative signal as a sign of redirection back in here? Okay. And learn some kind of lesson from it. I feel like those emotions are there to temper disharmonic behaviors from your values, which can only be a good thing. If you value trust and you care a lot about that, but you find yourself, in a moment of vulnerability, gossiping about someone, which, almost everyone does at some point. Yeah, you're probably going to feel embarrassed, and you're probably going to feel kind of shamed about it. Do you just suppress that signal and just feel super bad about it? Or do you take it as an opportunity to get back in touch with what you really care about, okay, and make the correction? Because I think that the people who don't feel this are in a lot of trouble. I feel like the people who are not guilty about any mistakes that they've made, who don't feel ashamed at people that they've hurt, who feel no regret, who don't feel embarrassed, like at the extreme levels, we're talking about like psychopathy and sociopathy. Like just the inability to feel any of those. They don't have a value system at all. Their system looks like whatever shape will get them the most advantage of the moment. And, they'll just sort of change it based on the event. It doesn't matter. They're not like in any way acting in good faith to like correct anything about themselves, and their inner world looks so chaotic because there is no like structured inner world. It just reshapes itself to whatever the present need is. I'll lie if I need to. I'll manipulate if I have to. If I want something, I'll break any amount of trust to get where I want to go. Like it's really, it's an extreme deficit of both empathy for the self and other people, but this like inability to feel these, would feel like corrective emotions, to get you back in touch with these things. So if you struggle with any of these, like if you're commonly embarrassed, if you have a lot of regrets, if you have, some shame and guilt, like it's a similar idea that we were talking about with the internal family systems. Try not to look at these as like purely negative forces. They give you negative feelings, but they are there to help you discover that there is a value either in need of development or that there is a value you already possess that you are acting outside of. And we want to get back in line with it, right? No one is perfect at navigating their value system every single day, okay? The best we can do is just like keep iterating on them, keep refining them. There are definitely times where I like slip up and make decisions and say stuff that it's tough. You feel bad. And I think the measure of your character is like whether you try to escape that or own up to it and try to show, those people or whoever you need to, like, what you're really about. Because we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to veer off from this path. And sometimes we're going to veer off, like, way off. Like I said, I think that certain things going on in your life are going to determine this, whether you're having like a chain of bad events, like a big breakup, all kinds of stuff could be happening to you that makes it harder and harder to live by this system. But this is your personality, like right in here, okay? All of the things that you care about, all of the guidelines for how to be you. And if that's a question mark for you, then you have more to discover, right? And that can be a very exciting thing. A lot of people watching this, I'm sure, are like, I don't really know what I care about. If you are someone who struggles with like people pleasing, for example, it's very likely that you have, some ideas about your value system, but you tend to change it based on whether or not you feel like someone's going to judge you for having a different value. Okay. And it's not as bad as like what I was saying about the psychopath who literally has none. It's just that yours, it doesn't have a lot of like foundational trust in itself, basically. I say that I really like the color red, but you hate the color red, and you say you really like the color blue, and I want you to like me. So I'm like, yeah, red's not that great, actually. And suddenly I'm like, oh, there goes my value. Like I kind of, I wanted to sort of adjust it a little bit to be agreeable to you, and I think this is a lot of people struggle with self-esteem is they think that to be liked by other people, you have to have those overlapping values. And so they sort of pivot, they pivot to like, oh, well, I think that show is stupid too. Secretly, I kind of love it. But if you hate it, then I guess I have to hate it, when in fact, yes, there's some intersectionality between like the people who you surround yourself with having similar values to you. But I think ultimately knowing what you care about and standing by it and being secure about it, like, that's my favorite show. And even if you think it's stupid, it's not like making me want to sort of make my statement smaller and smaller. And, I can be proud about the fact that I like it, and you can disagree and you can have a different value about it, and it's okay. We don't have to have the same value. I think that that's like, a sign of pretty strong self-esteem, is when you can hold a value and not feel the need to adjust it just to be agreeable to someone else, because ultimately that doesn't carry you very far. You end up losing sight of who you really are if you don't have someone to compare yourself to positively. So that's kind of the difficulty with people pleasing. Okay. So the reason I'm bringing all this up in the context of Omori and Sunny is, like I said, even without any dialogue, we can sort of detect a lot of what the value system is based on like the characters, how they interact, and what we see from them. Because like if I look at, you know, the inner world of Headspace, like it is a consistent world. It's not constantly shifting this way and that way. It's pretty consistent. Sunny values friendship, values connection, values safety, values fun. If we look at the game mechanics, I think that they tell us that he values like the idea of progression, of like leveling up, getting new skills. Like there's clearly an investment in self-development. Like he created an RPG in his head to measurably track his growing strength, his development of his relationships, what he's capable of doing, what he's not capable of doing, what he's able to overcome, these sorts of things. Like he clearly values being able to see himself grow. Like he hasn't given up on that idea, which I think is really important, because like if I'm looking at someone who's super depressed, sometimes we give up on growing and developing ourselves. And like Sunny hasn't. That's evident by this world he's created that is all about like gaining power and getting better and like progressing and finding his friend. And he's kind of blind to those things, but I think it's his value system intact that is having it show up in this structure. Like he's not necessarily puppeteering the structure of Headspace and designing it that way. It's just a natural consequence of the things that he cares about. He cares about this friend group. He cares about them supporting each other. These like follow-up attacks are all about them like tag teaming things. The ultimate attack is like a friendship attack. Like you can clearly see how important this is to him. And you can also see that like when he deviates from that, that's probably the most devastating thing, to see that like they're not friends anymore in real life. Knowing that he can't manifest that as a value because of the way the friendship has fallen apart is partially likely why he's disappeared into this world, and it's so traumatic for him, because one of his top level values, the thing that he gets a lot of his self-esteem from being aligned there, you know, when that's harmonized, I care about this thing and I can act according to that care. When he can't have that, it's devastating. And so he literally creates a world where he's like able to access that all the time. If communication, you know, like for me is like the biggest thing, it's how I be kind to people. It's how I be kind to myself. It's like my job is about communicating. These videos are about communicating. Like it's the most important thing to me. And if I like suddenly lost that ability, what would that do to me? Like, it would take a complete reorganization of the hierarchy here, you know? And I would have to find completely new ways, and I might really struggle with that. Like, I might really, really struggle with that. I think that's what we're seeing. I think that's what Headspace is. It's this preservation of the values that Sunny can't keep because of his condition. And the way that these kids are showing up, the specific versions of them that they are. Aubrey, he values her headstrong ability to like just sort of brute force her way through any problem. He clearly admires that, right? He cares about having someone with like really strong conviction who really doesn't give up. He values that she like gives pep talks, you know, that she consoles, that she encourages. All her skills are about like team spirit, taking damage for the team, countering, like taking on hits from other people so that she is the one who bears the brunt of it. Like he's clearly really attached to those ideas about her. For Kel, he clearly values his like extreme optimism and speed. Like he recognizes that that's a value for him, and he enjoys that. He enjoys like the versatility that he brings as a friend, and you know, the lighthearted relationship that they have. I think that you can even see these values in some of these little portraits. Like, these are clearly the aspects of the relationship he values most. You know, that little height comparison, you know. That sense of, like, progression is there as well. I think he appreciates that about Kel as a sports kid. With Aubrey, he values, like, her strength, but also her sensitivity, her softness. With Hero, I think he values a lot the maturity that he brings, right? Not just maturity for the sake of it, but the kind of maturity that feels protective. Like, it's not that Hero matured out of the friend group and doesn't care about being around them anymore because he's older. He's part of the gang, you know? Like, he didn't forget them just because he got older. That feels very welcoming, I'm sure, and validating. Sunny values the relationship with Basil because of likely some shared interests and shared personality. They're both a little more, you know, sensitive to things. They seem maybe a little more introverted and share in that sort of quiet bonding. They likely just sort of get things about each other very naturally, and they don't have to like work very hard on the relationship to get along. And that's something that Sunny likely values, and Basil likely values as well. So we can see like everywhere, every single thing in Headspace is there because of the things that Sunny values. This is all his headspace, right? All of the game mechanics, all of the world design, all of the interactions. You know, we can evidently see that the things he values about Mari is her ability to always show up when needed, right? Her ability to instantly solve a problem with like whatever snack or juice or whatever, to have a quiet respite with the picnics, to be a place for saving the game, you know, like to take a break from things. Like, she is the ultimate curative to any stressor at any moment, and she shows up just when needed. Those are the things he values most about her. And similarly, I think that reasons for his attachment are that he, and we as well, we sometimes choose people who have values that we can't reach ourselves. Like, I love surrounding myself with people who are like way better at things than me, because that's inspiring. I think Sunny surrounds himself with Aubrey because she has strength he can't access. Hero has maturity that he can learn from. Kel, you know, probably brightens up his day no matter how shitty he's feeling. Things like that. We choose people who have similar values, but also have values that we aspire to. And so coming back to this, I think a lot of the trauma and a lot of the negative expressions about Sunny and Omori can be read in this way too. I don't think that Sunny, or in this case Omori, values hurting people. I don't think that he values hurting himself. So many of his skills are not about like playing on the team. They're about like very self-serving, very like responsiveness to threats. Those aren't necessarily values. They're someone so far off the track that like they're in survival mode constantly. And I fear that like, because he doesn't have a lot of emotional expression, like he's not getting these signals, these very important signals. Like, I'm sure that if Kel and Aubrey were like having their little fight, like let's say at the beginning, you know, where they're sort of palling around with each other. But if it ever goes too far, like when they knocked over Basil's photo album, suddenly we feel guilty. Like we know it's gone too far and we stop clowning around and we like try to fix the problem. Omori is like not getting those signals. He's not getting like, hey, you should feel guilty for stabbing up the sprout moles. You should feel like regret about killing everything that you come across, right? There's no sense of shame about harming the self or any sense of regret or guilt about isolating from anyone else. Like these are just, they're not reaching him. And so he's like way out here. He's not getting any realignment. There is no harmonizing happening, unfortunately, that we've seen. And so what I'm wondering is like the story progression does seem to be about the kids that are in his life in the real world. They're scattered. All of their values have changed over time as they grow up and grown apart. But it's likely that there's going to be some coming together. You know, Kel is bringing Sonny Brady out of his home. He's reconnecting with Basil. There's potential for them to salvage things with Aubrey. You know, there's potential for like some realignment of both Sonny Brady's values and also those of his friends. And like I said, it's not that everyone has to be the same. We don't actually want or benefit from everyone having the same value system. Like often great relationships are about people who have like, you know, opposites attract kind of vibes where it's like, let's say I'm really good with money, but maybe I'm too frugal and I never spend it. And, you know, my spouse is someone who like is a lot more spontaneous and values like going on a fun trip every once in a while. And I just would never do it. But I appreciate that they pull me into that. Like you're going to find people who also get you out of that comfort zone and who you don't adapt your value system out of fear of losing them or fear of being judged by them, but you adapt it to them based on like the choice to connect more. And that's a very beautiful thing. It's something I hope we see from these characters. So I always start there. If I'm feeling any of these, I'm like, okay, I know what's going on. I know that like I've acted somehow outside of my value system. First of all, how do I get back in? What can I learn from this? And how do I refine my adherence to those values? I think it's really, really important that you like learn to identify what they are for you. You know, you can find lists of values online or talk about this with your therapist. But I say choose a value and spend some time really learning how you feel about it. You know, choose a value like patience, choose a value like punctuality, choose a value like discipline, a value like self-care, a value like leisure. I value leisure, but I often will overwork myself. Like I go straight from my like day job to the YouTube job. And I don't often like act in accordance to the value I set for self-care and leisure because I'm like in some kind of value conflict with like, yeah, but I love creating things. And sometimes you'll have a value conflict between two good things. One that's like, you know, take a fucking break for once, but also I'm so creatively fulfilled by this. Neither of those are bad things, but they can't always harmonize, right? They will create some tension when I'm like, you know, take a break, but there's content to make, you know, like it's tough, you know? But you learn about yourself in those moments, like how you respond to that. And so it's important to listen to those signals. You're not just going to feel these. Sometimes you'll feel a tension and say, okay, you know, like the content will get made, but also you need to take a break sometimes so that you, one, enjoy the things that you're making, that they stay of a good quality, and that you don't burn out and have to end up taking an even larger break, you know? I think this is how you learn to listen to yourself. It's how you learn to develop good practices, self-respecting practices, how you get closer in alignment with whatever that system you have is. And I think the closer you stick to it, the better you will feel. Because you know, these are the things I care about, and I'm actually acting according to them. Because we can see what's happening when there's a lot of value conflicts and a breakdown of the entire system. At the same time, I feel like it's the thing that's going to salvage all of this. Because despite, you know, almost everything about Sonny's world being at risk, and even his life and the people around him, I think his value system is still intact and still growing here in Headspace. Like, that's what we're doing. We're working on it. But we need to eventually take it where it belongs, back into our life. And I hope we get the chance to do that. Yes, I will take a bite of the strawberry cake. And I'll continue with this dungeon. Just felt like I needed to take a little analysis break before I get back to slashing and stabbing everything. A painting of Captain Spaceboy. Fruit juice has been splashed all over it. You know, I wasn't a big fan of Spaceboy when I met him, but I feel like he got a raw deal. Kind of sympathize with him a little bit. Oh, I just learned the skill, homemade jam. Return someone back to life. That's gonna be such a clutch play. I can just tell. Would you like to throw one clam into the fountain? Just one clam. Not a single one more. I value my clams. I value them staying in my coin purse. Let me through. You don't know how long I've been waiting to see Sweetheart's latest work. Please, let me in. I promise I'll write a good review. Okay. This place is huge. Welcome to the Royal Gallery. Please enjoy a complimentary tofu. Oh, there's a letter. What is this one? 7 keys left. Oh, yep. The K. It's gotta be black. Black. Space. I cannot puzzle out what that first word is. Let's check out this hole, though. Oh, this is like a black space. What? This is Basil's room. What? What is going on here? Why is Basil? Oh, this is sad. Oh, I don't like this. Basil's photo album. When good memories become painful. Man, yeah, because you're the things that you value are also like great sources of pain the more that you care about them. But I think what we're seeing here is like it's so painful to have a value of friendship that you feel like you've lost, that it feels more comfortable to deny that you care about it, you know, to scribble them out, black them out, maybe deny that you ever cared about it because it's too painful to accept that you really do, but that you don't have it anymore. you know, and basically every case, there's some kind of values work that I'm doing with someone because it's like something I'm always listening for. It's not always the surface layer of the conversation, but I am listening for what does this person care about? What do they say they care about? When they talk about how they're living their lives, are they living in harmony with the values that they have? When they talk about the things that are painful, are those values that they have that they feel they can't meet right now or forgotten how to meet or have lost interest in meeting? But what I always see is that like some kind of realignment, you know, some kind of harmony between the things you care about and how you act. Sometimes it's about discovering that you do care about those things. Sometimes it's about learning to care less about some things. But there's always some kind of values work going on. And the undercurrent, I think, for me is like, do you know how to listen to yourself? Do you relate the emotions that you feel? The fear, the rejection, the heartbreak that comes through in scribbling out these photos. Are you listening for what that's telling you? I mean, to me, this is the signal of regret. I regret having these memories because they're so painful to have. It's so painful to recognize that they're over and I can't get them back. It's a regret that I don't see new memories, new positive ones replacing them. I think Basil's in a kind of crisis where he's not able to see that the regret that's there could lead him back to what he cares about, but instead he's falling for it, falling deeper into it, to the point of trying to suffocate the value to begin with. I don't value these people. I don't value these friendships. I don't value my own life. Is sometimes how deep we can go with it. Well, now I'm sad. I know what'll cheer me up. Smashing stuff. Show me the clams. Where are the clams at? I always feel better smashing something and a big bundle of clams pops out. Goodness. From top to bottom. Creation of Sweetheart. Sweetheartica. The birth of Sweetheart with the heart earring. Sweetheart crossing the Delaware. Sweetheart eating a burrito. The swing sweet time. Okay. Sunday with Sweetheart. Sweetheart night. Mono Sweetheart. Scream Heart. Oh, are we near the end? Hopefully so. Keeper of the Castle. You are brave to speak to me, young ones. Tell me, are you enjoying Sweetheart's Castle? That girl, she was an elaborate one. This dwelling, it takes the shape of one's deepest desires. A place to return to, somewhere to call home. Sweetheart came to me a long time ago, a poor girl from the desert, and begged me on her knees to keep this place, or to make this place hers. I gave her what she desired, a castle full of riches, servants for her to command, a stage for her to flaunt her power. Yet she still wants more. It must be a curse. Soon she will leave and not return. I know this. And when I have deemed that she has found her home elsewhere, I will look for a new owner. At that time, return to me, you with the empty eyes. Your soul is split, but you can only choose one path. It will be interesting to see what you will make of this dwelling. It's kind of relevant to what we learned recently. Our soul is split between Omori and Sunny, and we can only choose one path. I'm starting to wind back to my earlier idea, you know? I'm still holding out that Sweetheart's got some layers. What kind of secret trauma does she have? Soon she will leave and not return. At that time, return to me. You would think oh, okay, so he wants us to come back once Sweetheart leaves. Oh, there's a long line. Yeah, we can power up. Is there like a save spot around here as well? Do you want some popcorn? It's 80 clams. No. What is popcorn? It's a lot of clams. Okay, actually, it's pretty good. I'll take it. I'll take some popcorn. That's pretty good, actually. Movie time? I'm guessing that's Sweetheart. Why is she a donut? Is it because she's empty inside? Oh my, there's simply no time to admit entry to all these unruly guests. It just goes to show that we mustn't ever underestimate the popularity of our dear Sweetheart. You there, servants with the ugly faces. The upcoming main event has a strict dress code. It's of utmost importance that our audience is dressed to Sweetheart's exact specifications. Here's a simple chart that even a non-sprout mole could understand. I don't get it. Kindly ask the lesser guests to follow you and bring them to me. You can do something like that simple. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I can be trusted with that. I've learned recently that I'm not very good at following directions. Oh, they want Hero to do it. Okay. Greetings, esteemed guest. Please follow me as your presence is urgently required. He's got the Sweetheart down. Oh, wait. But this is a yellow one. How do I get rid of her? How do I get rid of this one? I didn't realize that she's not pink. How do I get rid of it? Oh, I'm not supposed to. Okay. What did I just say? What did I just say? I cannot follow directions. Am I gonna have to collect all these things? I swear it's only in like video games. I'm very good at following directions when the stakes are high. And I'm a good listener as well. I'm just not a good gamer. How do I get there? I'll get you to move. I also think like I'm pretty good at following directions when I take my time playing games, but not when I'm like making content, because I'm thinking about like the quality of the recording, and I'm thinking about like, you know, what I'm talking about and being entertaining and all that kinds of stuff. So I'm not always the most attentive to the game. I'm just coping. I'm just coping because I'm embarrassing. I'm embarrassing myself. That's what I'm doing. I'm acting outside my value system. I'm embarrassed because I actually do pay a lot of attention to things, but right now I'm not paying a lot of attention because I want to be out of this castle. I have so many sprout moles. There's like a whole army of sprout moles. We could take over. I think that's everyone. Okay. Now do I just like walk out with them? Damn, to the dungeon. Well, should have listened to the dress code. Okay. You got a book? Take a book. Oh, I can collect that one this way. An interesting book. It's interesting. Oh, I can take that to the gentleman in the forest. All right. Where am I going here? Where am I going? What am I trying to accomplish here? Oh, I have to fight another fucking Maximus the Second. This is his father. All right. I guess we're doing it. Let's fucking do it. Omori, get sad. Get real good and sad. Omori, get as sad as you possibly can. You stab best when you're miserable. And now that's real shit. Go straight for the kill. Failure. Bro failed. I mean, I feel bad for the sprout moles, sort of. Nah, fuck that. These guys suck. Oh, geez, look at the size of this crowd. We'll never get through at this rate. Let's look around for another exit. We should check back here later. Okay. I think I'm going to pause it here. I kind of felt like I was coming up on the end of this dungeon, but it is quite a bit lengthier than I thought. I'm just going to head back to the last save point, which is in the dungeon. Safety. All right. Well, that is going to be our episode for today. And hopefully we finish this section next time. I'm very eager to see like what we get into on the next real day. And we'll go back to the church and check some of that stuff out in the graveyard, and there'll be plenty to discuss. Here's what I'm curious about, though. Let me know what you think of the discussion on values, and I'm curious if there is a value or a pair of values that you're like working on. Something that you're kind of figuring out about yourself, or that you want to figure out about yourself. I always find this like really, helpful for starting that discussion of learning about yourself, and also like learning to be kind to yourself, which I'm a big fan of. For example, I highly value the companionship of my two little creatures and the unconditional love that they give me, despite sometimes I can be difficult and I don't always give them the attention that they want. So yeah, I want to know a value that you're working on. I'm curious where you're at in your journey, and I hope that you find harmony with it soon. Until next time, I'll see you again very soon for the next episode. Be good to yourselves, and take care.